For this effect, I can hand the deck over to the participant and they can give it a shuffle. After they're done shuffling the deck, they could take out any card they would like. In real life, I wouldn't know the card. However, because I don't have a participant, I'm going to have to know the card, and you will know why during the performance. So let's say in this case, the card is the King of Hearts. So once the participant has remembered the King of Hearts, they could place it back in the deck anywhere they would like. And I explained that I'm going to try to cut the cards to where their card is located. So wherever I cut the cards, your card should be in that half. So let's say I go ahead and cut the cards right here. So I think that I have cut to your card the 8 of clubs. No, that's not your card? Okay. Well, maybe your card is one of these: the 3 of diamonds, the 6 of diamonds, the 8 of diamonds, or the 9 of diamonds. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cards. Out of these 5 cards, I think that your card is actually this card. So now you should not see your card in this packet whatsoever. Correct. Because I said that this card, the King of Hearts, is your card. That is the effect. If you would like to learn how to do this, stick around for the tutorial. The cards that I'm using are the Dead Hands by Xavier Spade. I will link the deck review for these cards in the description. So this effect is really cool. It's almost like the Biddle effect, but it's actually different because they don't see their card, but somehow out of the 5 cards, you're able to pick out their card. So for this effect, the deck can be shuffled, and what you're going to want to do first of all is have a card selected. So let's say this card is selected. Before they look at the card, I explain I'm going to turn around and I'm going to spread about half of the cards, give or take. And for these bottom 2 cards, especially this very bottom one, my middle and ring finger is going to be right there on it. So you're going to take this lower half that's squared up now and put their card on top of it. I'm going to leave their card face up. It would be face down, however. And with these bottom 2 cards your fingers are on, all you're going to do is when you square up the packet, you're going to load those 2 cards on top and then catch a pinky break right above. So if we cut below this pinky break, you're going to have 2 cards and then you're going to have their card. And that is the move you're going to do. So let's go over that again. So let's say we spread about half of the deck, give or take. This very bottom card here, okay, this one, my middle and ring finger goes on. I take their card, you put it face down on the pack, and when I blow these 2 cards on top, notice for the second card, the 2, it's going to pop off of my fingers. I can put my pinky in and square up. So now what you have is a group of cards, and then 2 cards followed by their card third. So now you explain that you're going to cut the cards, and wherever you cut the cards, you're going to try to actually cut to their card. So all you're actually doing here is cutting where the pinky break is. So if you wanted, you could come over and try to make this as real as possible and just lift up at that pinky break and set it down. But what I did was I came over, I put my thumb in the back where the break was, and then my middle ring pinky on top. And I made sure to keep the deck like this. I set it down, and when I was ready, I just lifted my thumb off of that bottom half and I moved the top half forward. Any way you want, I just cut the bottom half forward. And now what you're going to want to do is however, this is optional, but really however you turn over cards, you're going to want to do the same for your double lift. So however you do your double lift, try to do the same for the single lifts because you're going to do a bunch of single lifts and then a double lift. Now, of course, you can substitute any double lift in with a regular single lift, but I think if everything looks the same, they're not gonna really notice anything. If you're not familiar with the double lift, I will leave some links in the description. But what I did was actually the strike double. So I started off by saying, okay, I think I cut to your card and I do a single lift, the two of clubs. Now they're going to say no, and you say, okay. Well, if it wasn't the two of clubs, and notice how I squeeze it a little and then I bend it. This is just for when I do the double lift, because there's two cards, it's going to keep them as close together as possible. I then do another single, and I say, okay, if you didn't have the two, you could have had the nine of spades. I do that squeeze and bend. Now I do my double lift. So you can substitute any double in you would like. You could have had the three of clubs. I squeeze and then I bend and drop. And notice when I drop also that I drop from a very low distance. Okay, so when they hit, they're not even separated. But if you squeeze and bend from a high up, high angle, right here the card is exposed. If I go right off camera and I drop it, okay, it won't even hit. Right there would be awful. So that's why I do it as close as I can. But that's going to be 3. Now you're going to go back into your single lifts for 4 and 5. And because you're dropping cards, if you happen to flash a little, you can cover it up with the other cards. But now in their mind, you dropped off 5 cards when you actually dropped off 6 cards because you stole their selection. Let's go over that one more time. So you control their card somewhere to the middle of the deck with 2 cards on top of it. Feel free to do that any way you know how. You now say, okay, you could have had the 2 of clubs, and it doesn't matter if they say yes or no. So I like to squeeze them bend, which of course you don't have to do. So there's a single, here's another single, squeeze and bend. Here is a double lift. So you could have had, if you didn't have the 2, you could have had the 9, you could have had the 3, you could have had the 6, or you could have had the 2. And all you did here now was in their mind you put down 5 cards, but with their card you put down 6. So now you can put this deck off to the side, pick up this packet without flashing. So an easy way to do that is if you're on a table surface, I put my fingers in the front, I close them so there's no windows, I cup my hand at the edge, I'm going to move these cards right in. Okay, so I'll try to expose this. I'm going to move them right into my hand. I can now put my fingers around everything, squeeze pressure for the top, but the middle of the packet, and turn everything over. And now you're going to push off single cards, 1, 2, 3, and then for this pile, push over 1 card, because you have 3 cards here. So you say, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This right here is a double, so you don't want to expose that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I like to make it the process of trying to decide which card is theirs, but you're always going to go for that third card. So it doesn't matter how you do it. I like to peel off like this, make it look like I'm looking, maybe pull back this card, out jog, maybe out jog. It doesn't matter. Eventually take out the third card, leave it face down, and then you say, okay, I don't think your card is in here. because one card I put on the table, and it should be your card, the 5 of spades, and that is the effect. So I hope you really enjoyed this effect. It's another nice way to do the biddle trick, but it's in reverse, and it looks like you messed up. So it's really nice with that kicker ending. So I hope you like this one. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time with a new video. Bye.